First, I just want to start by saying thanks to everybody who has come out today. Just truly humbled to see this many faces here for my announcement. So again, thank you. Next, I would like to thank Vice President of Athletics, Regan Rossi. I'm truly humbled to be picked to be the next leader of this women's basketball program and be a representative of this amazing college. I'd like to thank co-presidents Doug Brigham, Jim Everett for endorsing Regan Rossi's choice. And then after that, I'd like to thank the committee that helped with this process. Austin, Coach Blaine, Michaela Laverty, Terrence Sumas, and Coach Corbin. It was truly a great experience to go through. They really rolled out the red carpet, and it was very humbling again. Next, I'd like to thank my family, my wife, Allie Erickson. Being a coach's wife is hard, and for me, this has been a dream of mine. And chasing that dream has taken a lot of sacrifice for both of us, and I just would not be here today without my wife. And then thank my son Enzo. You won't quite know what that means because he's not even 1 year old yet, but it's taken sacrifice for him as well. And we are all very excited to make the move over here and be a part of the Caldwell community as well as the College of Idaho community. After that, I would like to thank Alicia Parker, head coach at Pacific University. Like Regan touched on, we built something special and it continues to build. But for me personally, she gave me a lot of room to grow and develop and become prepared for this position that I'm taking over. So I'd like to thank her as well as everyone at Pacific University who helped with my development to get to this stage. Being here at College of Idaho has been special. I saw it when I came for my interview. I've seen it in the last couple days being on campus. I'm pretty familiar with small colleges, and I've never seen a more welcoming community than College of Idaho. Every day, there's at least 5 or 6 encounters where I'm just taken aback by how welcomed I feel. And that leads me to the players. They've been awesome so far. They've welcomed me with open arms. I can truly feel the excitement of having a new leader and trusting me with their basketball future. But it's a special place. For me to take the next step to being a head coach, I can't imagine a better place either. Regan's done an incredible job with the athletic department. Regan herself, one of the most successful coaches in program history. To have her as a boss, as a mentor, I think that it's going to be an incredible experience. Not to mention a department chock full of winners. I mean, I have an administrator who's won Cascade Conference championships. I have Austin, another administrator who's won Cascade Conference championships. All of the coaches have incredible accomplishments. I mean, the programs are in great places. For me, the bar is set pretty high. We've got to get to work, ladies, because it's championships here. And I like that expectation. I'm ready to embrace that expectation. For me, that's always been an expectation I put on myself. I don't want to take second. I don't want to take third. I don't want to take fourth. I want to be a champion, and I want to get this program back where we're winning championships. Excuse me while I take a break. It doesn't happen overnight. It's going to be building a culture that fits my identity, fits the players that we'll be recruiting and developing. It's their identity. It is a process, and that's something that we have to work hard to establish right away. Year one, it's going to be a lot of establishing that process, understanding you can't cut corners. I mean, if winning championships were easy, everybody would do it. So we have got to develop those habits to develop the players and the team that it takes to win championships. And I think a lot of it starts with culture. The biggest piece for culture with me is relationships. It's getting the players to trust me and believe in me, and getting the players to trust each other and believe in themselves. And I think that all comes back to relationships, which is something I'm excited to be building relationships with the current players and building relationships in recruiting. And so I'm excited that this process went so fast. Credit to Regan and the committee for making this process very, very quick, very smooth. So I can start working with these players on campus, building those relationships, and hit the ground running from a recruiting standpoint. Because for me, I just know how important athletics is to this college and to this community. So I want to build a program that the community can be proud of on the court and off the court. I want to get our team involved in the community as much as possible so that they're familiar with our faces and we're familiar with their faces. Being at a small college in a small community, I think, is a special experience, and it's one that I want the ladies to understand and take advantage of and thrive in that setting. And then from there, I want to have a basketball team where the product on the floor is one that the community is excited to watch. One that's always playing with energy and effort. Those two things that coaches talk about a lot. Everyone can control those two facets, energy and effort. Shots might not fall, refs might not be on our side that night, but that energy and effort's going to be there. And then we're going to play team basketball. I coach basketball for a reason. I love this sport more than any other sport out there, and most things out there, and it's because of the team aspect, the camaraderie. So we're going to play a great brand of team basketball where we're sharing the ball and we're having fun doing it. Yeah, I think I touched on all the thank yous I wanted to put out there, and again, just can't reiterate my appreciation for everybody who's come out today. It's truly humbling, and I'm excited to get to work. Any questions? Yeah, it goes a little before the interview process. Having played at Montana Western, being very familiar with the NAIA, I've always known College of Idaho is a college that truly cares about athletics, the experience of their students, and having that unique combination of academics and athletics. So I've always known that, and then coming on campus, it was evident right away. Even in there's the Zoom interview, I just got great vibes. Coach Mullane likes to talk about vibes, and the vibes were there, and they continued as I came on campus. It's truly special. I'm originally from Montana, and Montana and Idaho, the people I think are the salt of the earth, and you just feel that graciousness and pride in community, and that was here day one. Everybody I talked to, it was incredible. A lot of people are going on 30 years working here, and it's not because they can't find other jobs, it's because they love it. And I think that's special. Women's side, I guess there's a little break there, but I've been involved with women's basketball for the last 10 years, and the amount of growth has been incredible. A lot of it has been the play that you see at the Division I level. But I also think it's just how much the game is modernized. You just see so much more skill. You see a lot more freedom offensively for those players to display those skills, and it's just a really fun brand of basketball. What Iowa's doing, and obviously they didn't win it, and they lost a better team, but Caitlin Clark, she's sensational. It's an exciting time for women's basketball, and I couldn't be taking over a program and be involved with women's basketball at a better time.
And then the second part, how do you take advantage of that growth to jumpstart this program?
Yeah, that's a great question. With recruiting, it's getting out there and finding those players that have some of those modern skills. I think with the current team, I've talked to a bunch of them about the tournament and what we watched, and you can just see the excitement on their face, and that's kind of a reflection of what I think is out there from a recruiting standpoint. There's just a lot of young ladies who are really excited about chasing their dream as a basketball player, and they just have some incredible role models that you're seeing on TV for them to build their game. I think in the past, a lot of times you'd ask young women who their favorite player was, and it would be an NBA player. And now it's a special time. You're hearing them say Caitlin Clark, Sabrina Ionescu, female basketball players, and I think that's a huge indicator that we're in a special place as a sport.
Cool, and then I have one more question that's sort of related, so I'll just throw it in now. So the men's program just won national championships, so how do you feed off their success to build up this team?
Yeah, for us, we've got to understand that we are our own program, and we've got to figure out our pathway to success and create our own identity, which I think will be important. But at the same time, I came on campus right after the national championship, and campus was buzzing. It was an incredible feel on campus. Everybody was excited. I actually got to attend the banquet to celebrate the national championship. And again, that's another example for John's question. seeing the community come out and how excited they were, how proud they were. So it's capitalizing on that electricity and just pride in the campus.
Piggybacking kind of on the recruiting question, I'm sure you recruited in the Treasure Valley before. A lot of talent in women's basketball, a lot of D1 recruits. What do you guys, how big of a priority is it, keeping some of that talent here in the Treasure Valley?
Very, yeah, very. It's a hotbed for women's basketball, and so it's going to be us getting our name out there and connecting with local high school coaches, local club coaches, and trying to funnel some of that talent over here to College of Idaho. Shout out to my assistant Andrew Bruce. I think he's going to be really key in that. He's very connected in the community. He's a Bishop Kelly alum, College of Idaho alum, so he's already been doing a great job as far as getting us connected, and we're just going to keep building and trying to get as much local talent as we can.
Did you do a lot of recruiting in this area of the Union Pacific, or did you kind of stay?
I did, yeah, I did. I can't say a lot of that recruiting came to fruition, but it was not due to lack of effort, and so I do feel like I have a good understanding of the lay of the land here, and so between my experience and Coach Bruce's experience, I think we're doing a great job locally.
You mentioned, the first year, putting your, identity, the cultural identity in this program. What exactly is kind of your cultural identity for coaching basketball?
Yeah, I touched on it a little with relationships, and then from there, it's just taking pride and passion, and having a lot of pride in who we represent, which is the College of Idaho, and then more specifically, the women's basketball program of the College of Idaho, and then taking pride in what we do, how we play, how we approach the classroom, what we're doing in the off season, and having just pride in, again, holding ourselves accountable. So I think that's going to be a big part of the culture. And then the last thing is having fun. Basketball is the most fun game out there. That's why, again, going back to camaraderie, teamwork, it's also fun. And so we're going to have fun, but we're going to do it in a way that finds success.
Coach, a couple questions for you.
Yes, sir.
So we talked a little bit about the remarkable program change that you had with Pacific. And so I was just wondering, how are you a better coach now coming off of that, and how do you hope to bring that to C of I?
Yeah, that was a special experience for me. As a player, I was very fortunate to go to Montana Western, Steve Keller's first year at Montana Western, and we were not good. And so I was very fortunate to be a part of that turnaround, where we went through national tournaments my last 3 years there. And so I had that experience as a player. I knew what it took. And then to go do it as a coach at Pacific University, I think it just is built on that knowledge. And that's why I talk about it. I want to have lofty goals next year, but also we have to be realistic. And I think developing the habits to reach those lofty goals is the biggest component, and understanding the process that goes into becoming a championship team. And so that's where I think building good habits, strong relationships, and changing the culture, I think is the most important step. And then after that, it is recruiting. You have to get championship caliber players that know how to win, players that are going to come in and challenge each other every day. And so I think those are the biggest takeaways. But for me, having gone through that as a coach and a player, I'm very excited for what we're going to build here at College of Idaho.
Awesome. And then just a bit of a two-part question for you. What were some influences that you've had in basketball and or coaching?
Yeah, it goes all the way back to my dad. He was a coach. We're from a small town in Montana. So he's the head boys coach, head girls coach here, depending on the year. But so I was in the gym as a kid, and then from there, I knew I wanted to play college basketball, and I achieved that goal. And Steve Keller, my coach at Montana Western, was a huge influence. He was as passionate about basketball as I was, which I hadn't met anybody that passionate up until that point. And so he's been a huge influence. And then through my coaching career, I've been very fortunate to work for a lot of very good coaches. I worked for Lindsey Woolley at Montana Western when he took over that program. And again, that was a good experience, because if you'd have told me that year that he was going to win a national championship 7 years ago, I might have questioned you, but at the same time, he's an incredible coach. So also wasn't that surprised, but it was pretty special. And so he's another big one for me. And then Alicia Parker, just a really good friend of mine, have a ton of respect for her, incredible coach.
Second part to that, what does basketball mean to you as a coach and to your family as well?
Yeah, for me, I used to believe it meant everything, and then I became an adult and met my wife and had a child and built a family, and you get a little bit of perspective on things. But I still believe it just is so important in how it can shape young women. It just teaches them so many skills, from competition to being a good teammate. And so I think it's huge. My family, we're a huge basketball family. My wife played at the University of Montana. Her family's a big basketball family. So for fun, we go watch high school basketball games. We're a big basketball family. It's usually the topic of conversation. Enzo's already dunking on me, a little tight here. We need to raise it up. We need to raise it up a notch because he's just pulling it down all day. So yeah, big basketball family.
And last question for me, what's the most exciting thing that you're looking forward to for coming to C of I?
Yeah, for me, it's the community and the department. How competitive everyone is, especially within the department. It just brings out the competition in me. I mean, I'm always ready to compete, but for me coming in and seeing how much these coaches compete and how much Regan competes, it has me super excited. I want to be at a college that wants to compete every year, every sport. So that's what has me most excited.
You touched kind of a little earlier on, that, it's going to be a process to get this program up to the level. Do you have a timeline, or do you kind of let those things as come as they come?
I would like to say I have a timeline, but I mean, next year, again, it's going to be another process. And I'm planning for success following very quickly next year. And after that, it's being top four. It's being, in year two, I want to be strongly in the top four. In year three, I want to compete for championships. And if we can speed that process up, we're going to do everything we can. But at the same time, like I said at the very beginning, fortunately, winning championships does not happen overnight. It does take building up a program, building up a culture, building up habits. But year three is one game competing.
And as a coach, just how tough is that? Kind of having that patience sometimes.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. Yeah, I don't like losing. I mean, year one at Pacific University, we lost 17 games, and I about lost it that year. I never lost that many games since I was a freshman at Western, and it's hard to take that many losses. But it's just understanding that we've got to build a culture, build the habits, and success will follow.
Any other questions for Coach Erickson?
Obviously, you're potentially losing the all-time leading rebounder in Lexi Mitchell. Do you have any idea where your thoughts are about going with the team in size as far as recruiting bigger or small ball?
Yeah, we are recruiting some rebounders because yes, losing Lexi Mitchell is potentially a very big loss. I do prefer to find, I need to find another Lexi Mitchell. I do prefer a little bit more undersized, skilled players that can rebound bigger than they are. Like Lexi, and she rebounds like she's 6'3". So I do prefer a little bit smaller, more versatile, more skilled, better rebounders. Avery's been hitting the glass, Breeze, every once in a while getting there. You just keep getting buckets, Bree. We'll find some rebounders.
Once again, thanks everybody for coming out to meet Coach Erickson, and